Welcome to Module 2, Money. So what is money? Money has three functions. So money is a store of value. Think in real simple terms. Imagine you're working at a fast food restaurant, or maybe you're on the wait staff at Applebee's. Your idea of fun is probably not spending Friday night waiting tables at Applebee's. But you want things. You want a new toy, whatever that toy is, a new TV, a new car, wherever it happens to be. Or maybe you need things. You need to pay the rent. You need food. You need clothing. So whatever your wants and needs are, you can't make a car. You can't build an apartment. You need to create value for somebody else so they'll give you the things that you want. But the people that come into Applebee's, they don't have the things that you want. They can't give you a car because you waited on them one Friday night. What you've done for them is you've created value. You've given them a nice night out. You've let them enjoy themselves. They didn't have to cook. It was a good time for them, not a great time for you. But in exchange, they give money to Applebee's, and Applebee's gives money to you. That money is a way to store the value that you created for your guest. Money is a medium of exchange. So now that you have that money, you can go and give it to somebody else. You can give them that piece of paper, whether it's a physical piece of paper or just electronically transfer the money. You give them that piece of paper, and they'll give you something that you want or need. They'll give you food or clothing or the right to use an apartment or whatever it happens to be that you want or need. Money is a unit of account. That's probably the hardest one to visualize. But it gives us relative values. So I know that a brand new Corvette is worth more than a used bicycle. But I don't know exactly how much more. I know that a painting has value, but exactly how much. I know that the food in the grocery store has value, but exactly how much. So if we can put it all in common terms, like a loaf of bread is not worth 3 apples, or a Corvette's not worth 3,000 apples, but a loaf of bread is worth so many dollars. A new Corvette is worth so many dollars. A used bicycle, this used bicycle is worth so many dollars. So that allows us to know what things are worth. So different things have been used as currency in the past and are being used as currency today. But whatever we use as currency has to be accepted as money and has to have these three functions that we've already talked about. So when I say currency, I mean like this US $100 bill is currency. If I wait tables on a Friday night and I get a $100 bill, I'm accepting that because I know I can trade it for something else. I know that's storing the value I created. I'm trusting the US government because they're the ones that print it. Below the $100 bill, you see a bunch of Venezuelan currency. I ordered all that for $12.50. Most of the price was in shipping, and that's like a couple million of the Venezuelan currency, bolivars, I think it is. So I don't think I would want to spend Friday night waiting tables at Applebee's to get those pieces of paper because I don't trust the Venezuelan government because they printed too much of it. You can see at the bottom you have shells here. That was one of the first currencies that there's ever been. And then you can see on the upper left, here's a Roman denarii. The image on the coin is Caesar. That was made out of silver. Something interesting about that, I want to look at the different properties of currency. Below the Roman denarii it's kind of ugly looking, but that's tobacco. And then below that is ramen noodles. So let's look at the properties of currency. And here's what they have to be. They have to be acceptable. So people have to be willing to take this in exchange for work or goods or services. They have to be scarce. That's a problem with the Venezuelan currency, is the Venezuelan government kept printing it, which meant it wasn't scarce. That became the problem with the Roman denarii. It had silver in it and it had Caesar's image on it. So interesting fact, when Rome fell, it fell primarily because it debased the value of their currency. The Roman army would buy wheat from Egypt using these pieces of silver. The Egyptians didn't care whose picture was on there. They cared that there was silver in it because silver had value. Other people would accept silver. But the Roman government started putting less and less silver into their coin because they started running short on the ability to obtain silver. And the Egyptians said, I don't care whose image is on the coin. I only care what's inside the coin. So it was no longer acceptable to them. Tobacco in colonial America was acceptable, and ramen noodles are used in prison as currency. So let's think about those other properties. We have acceptable, we have scarce, we have portable. So yeah, everything here is portable. Maybe the tobacco is less portable than the others. The silver can be a little bit heavy, and certainly the ramen noodles are portable to some degree, but you couldn't carry enough to buy a car somewhere. Currency needs to be divisible, uniform, and durable. Let me show you another picture to think about why that's the case. These are diamonds. Diamonds are great. They're very valuable. They are scarce. You can argue about the companies that control the diamond industry, and maybe they're not really scarce, but from my standpoint, they are scarce. They have value, so I would accept them. They're very small. They are portable. But are they divisible? Well, not really, because if you cut a diamond, you can make it more valuable, but you could also make it less valuable. A 5-carat diamond that was in whatever great shape would have a huge value. If you cut that into 5 1-carat diamonds, that would destroy part of the value of that diamond. So it's not divisible. It's not uniform. Diamonds are different sizes, or different cuts, or different clarities, all these different things about them. But they are durable. They're the hardest substance that we have. But diamonds never became currency, primarily because they weren't uniform, they weren't divisible. This is gold. Think about gold. It's acceptable because of the other things. It's scarce, it's portable, it's divisible, it's uniform, it's durable. 99% of the gold that's ever been mined can still be recovered today. If you have 5 ounces of gold, you could divide that into 5 1-ounce nuggets of gold. It wouldn't destroy the value at all. An ounce of gold is an ounce of gold. It doesn't matter if that ounce of gold was mined in the U.S. or South Africa or wherever it is. It's all the same thing. So when you look at any currency, you have to think about, does it have those different characteristics? As far as looking at currencies issued by governments, scarce is probably the most important one, because we're really talking about trust. Do I trust the U.S. government not to print a bunch of $100 bills? Do I trust the Egyptian government 2,000 years ago to put enough silver in each coin? Do I trust the Venezuelan government not to print too much of their currency? Whatever currency I'm using, I have to have trust in whoever or whatever created that currency. So here's a challenge statement for this module. Imagine you're part of a large group of people who decide to buy land in a remote region of the United States. You choose where, and you form your own country. Maybe you do it on an island somewhere. Wherever it is, you're starting your own society. The group has plans for how they will produce almost everything they need. Medical, food, all that other stuff, but they forgot about a new currency. The US dollar is not an option. But y'all are going to have to trade with people from the outside world. You're the finance expert in this group. Is money necessary? Why or why not? If it is necessary, what will you use for money? What are the limitations of that money? And maybe you could get it to be acceptable inside your little new country, but you have to trade with the outside world. So what could you do to make that new currency be acceptable to the outside world?